Okay guys, what is up? It is PDFTCG. It has been a hot minute since we have done any recording, but we are here with the first game of the 8-person Wrath of Kors beta tournament. So in this game I'm playing against Happy Mandolin, aka Amanda. Just right off the bat, TP Cole is already ruining my my video just immediately. Got a little bit of a posse from the Chaos Galaxy end of things in here. We are watching this video at I think 2 times speed at the moment. So first of all, the rest of the games will be streamed by Chris. This game was actually streamed by Chris as well, so if you're more interested in watching kind of his perspective and like a more commentary based thing, this is just going to be from my perspective, kind of going over what my deck does and why I did the things that I did, as well as I'll probably stop in a couple of spots to explain some things. So I am playing this video at 2 times speed. I had to, the way I'm recording this is a little bit jank. Hopefully it doesn't destroy the quality. I don't think it will. But we have drawn our opening 10 cards. So I'm going to be doing this largely assuming that a decent number of the people that are watching this haven't played Wrath of Kors. So in our opening hand here, we can see that we have 0 terrain cards. 0 terrain cards in our first 10 cards, which is rather impressive. That's quite bad for us. Ideally, you want to play 1 terrain per turn. For the first few turns, you can only play 1 per turn. And then those generate your elements, which is the resources that you use to actually play the cards in your deck. So ideally we'd be starting with 2 or 3 of those in our hand. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cough at the moment. We started with 0, which is pretty awful. This is a really bad start for us, particularly because our deck is already kind of slow. We're not very happy with the fact that we didn't start with any terrains in hand. However, we do have to go ahead and choose 3 of these to put on the bottom of the deck. So I'm trying to kind of figure out what I want to do here. I'm noting that I have 2 Ellas in hand, which I want to keep both of, because when they're 1 cost creatures, units, that when they come into play, I get to draw a card, so that can help us draw into the terrains that we're missing. I'm also going to hold on to that ruby gemstone. It's 2 red, and you place it on a terrain, and that terrain generates an extra red element at the start of each turn. Very similar to terrains, very similar to lands, and elements are very similar to mana in Magic, if that helps any of you understand. So I have chosen the... Have I chosen all 3? Yeah, so I have 7 cards left in my hand, so I have chosen. And now we're going to flip to see who goes first. She picks tails, she gets it. So she will be going first. She puts the element on her core, so she has 1 white element right now. Your core also generates an element every turn, like a terrain. So she has access to 1 white element, so she could play any card that has the cost of 1 white element. I'm going to try and... So I played the Ella there, and fortunately we draw into another terrain, which is going to help us a lot. We had 0, now we have 1. That's an infinite percentage increase in the number of terrains, so we like to see that. That is why we were holding on to Ella there, is, praying to draw into a terrain. So she plays her own Ella. My core can generate white or black, so right here I'm kind of thinking about it, but the only thing that really makes sense is to go for white, because we still do need those terrains so badly. So that was my thought process, at least. However, when I play the second Ella, I am informed that because it is a named unit, you can only have one of them in play. I guess similar to like legendaries in Magic, which I didn't realize at the time. So that's kind of a bummer. If I had known that, I probably would have tossed one to the bottom. And on top of that, we drew into our Crystal Golem off of that Ella. Crystal Golem going to the bottom of the deck now because I've seen it, and that was the ruling by Chris to kind of remedy the situation. That Crystal Golem is probably the most powerful card in the game. I would consider it to be one of the few cards that's like a true staple in this game, where you play it in like literally every deck. It costs 7 elements of any color, so you can put it into any deck, and it brings back 3 cards from your discard whenever you play it. So it just lets most decks do whatever they're doing harder. Particularly in Wrath of Kors, which is a very like card advantage, like slowly wearing down your opponent's card advantage until you have a big lead on them is pretty significant. So we're both just bashing Ellas into each other. So Ella, one of the interesting things about her is that one of her rolls, so every time you do battle with a card in Wrath of Kors, you roll a die. And one of Ella's rolls on a 5 or a 6, so 1 in 3 chance, because it can be on a 5 or a 6, she draws a card. Which again, Wrath of Kors is extremely like card advantage based, in my opinion. So just aiming for that one card. I'm certainly down to roll Ellas against each other because I'm still digging for terrains. We're at 2. We should be at, on this next turn, we would be looking to be at 4. Counting my core as a terrain, because it effectively is. It doesn't technically count as a terrain, but for all intents and purposes it is. So I rolled a 5 there, so I actually get to draw a card off of my Ella, which is a pretty big deal. And there's the terrain that I was looking for. And now it's my turn, so I'm also going to be able to draw for that. So now we're at 4 terrains. We're going to be able to play one this turn and then have one sitting around for next turn. So that's good for us. She has also played that Sapphire Gemstone, which I think you guys will, yeah, you guys should be able to see my cursor. So she has the Sapphire Gemstone, which makes this terrain that it's on generate an extra element each turn. So she's kind of crushing me as far as just having like resources to play cards with. I have card advantage, but that's partially because I haven't been able to play anything, or hand advantage I should say. I'm probably not really terribly far ahead on cards. I'm probably +1 on her or something because my Ella went off. But fortunately she hasn't been able to lay down too many big threats in the early game here, or I could be taking a lot of damage. And with, as I said, this deck is rather slow. It does intend to slowly grind out that card advantage and win out once your opponent is just kind of out of cards. So she's dropping a Loyal Harbinger, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's a 3-cost angel that decreases the cost of the next card that she plays by 3. The next angel that she plays. And then she plays the Dimensional Archangel, which is 2 Pelfams duct taped together. That card is rather strong. It lets her bounce up to 2 of my creatures, and then it has a big body to go with it. So really this is not looking terribly great for me at the moment. I'll say that things are not looking great. She's been able to just put down a lot more than I have, particularly in that last turn. I since she did bounce the Ella, I do get to draw a card here. So that's something. But my hand's getting big. I can't play most of the stuff in it. I think here I'm probably going to go for a Mind Wreck, which is just a look at your opponent. You can even see me counting the cards in my hand there, because apparently I don't realize that there's a big stupid 11 to the top right of my hand. So Mind Wreck lets you look at your opponent's hand, discard a card. Very strong. As I've stated, Crystal Golem is one of the best cards in the game, possibly the best card in the game right now. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of hers. Keep in mind, ours is effectively gone as well. It is at the very bottom of our deck. Notable cards that were also in her hand, her other royalty rare was also in her hand, which is a big, I can't remember the name of it. It's a big stupid angel that hits for like 1,000,000. And she also has Twister, which is one of the other best cards in the game. Twister is a 3-cost card that allows you to draw 2 and cause your opponent to discard 2, which is kind of gross. It is extremely powerful. So we were actually looking at that or the Crystal Golem, but because the Crystal Golem can bring back the Twister and also just be a gigantic idiot, coupled with the fact that she has a ton of elements to play each turn, we're more concerned with the Crystal Golem than the Twister. She's swinging in. I don't have a lot to do here. I'm blocking with the Ella to mitigate some damage, possibly draw a card, but this is... That Archangel alone is like... It's literally 4 Ellas stacked together, so we're not winning that. She also drops a Cellar Dragon, pretty strong mid-ranged card. This is frankly looking rough. She has 4 creatures in play. She can generate 3 more at the moment, going to be 2 more by the end of this turn, elements per turn than I can. So she's got field advantage. She has like tempo advantage. I don't know exactly. She can put out stuff faster than I can as well, on top of the fact that she has board advantage right now. And I have a 1/2 unit in play as my as my defense to this. Not looking great. I did, however, just top deck into one of my royalty rares. For those of you that don't know, which again is a good chance it's most of you, you can have 2 different royalty rares in your deck. You can only have 1 copy of each. So you can have a copy of card A and a copy of card B, but you can't have 2 copies of card A, if that makes sense. Anyway, I drew End of an Era, which is an action card, which is like a spell card in Magic or a magic card in Yu-Gi-Oh. Spell card in... Wait, no. We can do this. It's a sorcery in Magic, a magic card in Yu-Gi-Oh, a trainer card in Pokemon. It's, you know, it's a utility card. It's not a creature. When you play it, you destroy all creatures and all relics and all wonders in play. So creatures or units, I guess. Units, pretty self-explanatory. They're your dudes. Relics are things that you attach to your terrains, like these gemstones. Wonders are a card that you can only have 1 of in play. They go like up in this area and they have different effects. They stay permanently. Anyway, this card right here nukes basically everything that's not a terrain. It takes out everything, and we have enough to play it here. We have 4. We have 5. We need 4 of these. If I hadn't have had this, we might have been able to come back, but we would have had to have pulled out some stuff pretty quickly. At this point, I can pretty much guarantee that Amanda is basically fuming. She curved out really well. She was dropping stuff down. I mean, she was really laying into me, and then that cleared it all out. Now she's at 6 terrains and then 4 cards in her hand versus this, which, as I said, this is super key to Wrath of Course. This is very important right here. I also have 13 charges on my core, so each player starts with a core in play, and on top of generating elements and being able to put units on them, much like your terrains over here, you can also use their ability. And there's a bunch of different ones. They all do different things. Hers heals her. Mine actually takes her health and my health, duct tapes them together, and then divides it by half and gives it to each of you. So if my health is lower than hers, then it'll do damage to her and give it to me, basically, until we're even. We're kind of prettying up our terrains here. I think I may have missed a terrain drop just basically because I was so excited that I'm not dead. So not the best thing on my part. I should also be using my cores thing here right now. It needs 10 charges for me to be able to use it. I don't think I could have. I think I have this many because I just nuked the board. Every time a unit comes into play or leaves play, I get a charge. So yeah, this I'll be looking to use next turn, I'm pretty sure. She Twisters, as I said, very strong. Evened up the card advantage a little bit. She's still in kind of rough shape as far as that goes. But she has done a fairly decent amount of damage to me thus far already, so I'm going to play Naya. Naya is like kind of a mid-ranged unit that when she comes into play, my opponent has to discard a card. Again, just kind of playing towards that card advantage. So she's discarding. This is like a counter spell. She can negate one of my effects with it. I used my core's ability here. I am currently doing math. Keep in mind this is in double time, so my math was twice as slow as that. You know, just giving you an idea of how high IQ I am. And at this point, things are looking pretty south for her. The health is evened up. The board is kind of in my favor, although she can dump stuff a lot faster than I can. But I have 1 creature in play. She has none in play, and then she only has 3 cards in hand. So this is looking fairly rough for her at the moment. This guy came in here and started doing this for reasons I don't know. I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this man is doing or why he's doing it. So she puts down her elements, draws a card. Quick note, so I have Sacrificial Chamber and Gauntlet of Restraint in my hand, which will that's a 2-card combo that is extremely strong. I'll be showing that off shortly, but for the moment I'll just let that be. This is a very noticeable like ongoing combo. I also have Fissure, which is some of the best creature removal in the game. And we have another Mind Wreck, so we can peel a card out of her hand. This is Dark Magic. It will let me negate something. This terrain, and this is Countdown to Destruction, which is a worse end of an era. So I can theoretically nuke the board again if it comes to that. So she's played I think it's Storm Spider, and I have another Naya in play. So we've generated 4 red here, which will let us play the Eruptive Fissure, which blows up an entire stack of cards, which is anything that's like on a terrain and the terrain itself. So that would be, you could potentially destroy up to 4 cards with that, being the terrain, the unit on the terrain, the relic on the terrain, and the weapon attached to the unit that is on the terrain. where we hit her with the mind rack. Oh, I think she was missing white for Mage's countermeasure. That was... No, she had it. No, oh, no, she just put it down. Okay. She discards the tsunami there. Maybe that was the right play. I'm not sure. At the moment, I don't have anything in play, and the only thing that is in play, if she bounces it back to my hand, she has to discard another card. So probably, she really probably doesn't want to be bouncing a bunch of stuff right now. So we're going to go to our turn, generate our elements. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So we're going to drop down the chamber and another terrain. So the chamber says that I can sacrifice a creature once per turn in order to draw cards equal to its play cost. So the Naya that I have on the field right now costs 3. So I can sacrifice her in order to draw 3 cards, which again, very good. Any card that says draw a card in Wrath of Kors, probably pretty good. So we're going to pick up 3 cards here. And I think next turn we're probably going to start using the Gauntlet. Which, as I said, the Gauntlet combined with the Sacrificial Chamber is a, frankly, disgusting combo. So we're charging our core. We could potentially, we're halfway to being able to use it again. So if she does start doing some damage here, which it looks like she might, we can kind of even up our health again. So she's swinging in with the Storm Spider. The other 2 units that she has in play can't attack this turn. You can't attack with the unit the same turn that comes into play. So the Storm Spider hits me. We're going to generate elements here. I'm thinking about it a little bit. I think I'm really just looking to use the Gauntlet this turn. And I should probably have generated a white somewhere so that I could play Cherub. But here we are. Yeah, I have now at this point realized that the elements that I have generated were really, really dumb and are going to cost me about a bazillion HP. So we're going to go ahead and burn through what we have. We really would have preferred to have been able to have played a unit there, and then put the Gauntlet of Restraint on it. But we didn't have a unit that we could play with the resources that we generated because I have an IQ of 12. So now passing back to her here, we did get rid of her biggest threat in the Storm Spider. However, would have been a lot better if we could have dropped a creature with the Gauntlet on it. So a quick overview of what the Gauntlet actually does is... Oh, she's got a trading post. That's going to give her some more cards now. That's good for her. What the Gauntlet does is you put it on your creature. You have to have a creature in play. I'm going to call them creatures. They're not units. They're creatures. I'm calling them creatures. You put it on a creature that you have in play, and then you discard a card. After you discard that card, you can attach it to a creature that your opponent has in play. And that creature comes to your side of the field until the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, it goes back to your opponent's hand. But instead of it letting it go back to my opponent's hand, I just sacrifice it with the chamber, and that puts the Gauntlet back into my hand. The Gauntlet is supposed to destroy itself at the end of the turn that it uses its ability, but weapons, I think it's weapons. It's a little bit weird because there's also armor, but I think he calls them weapons. Weapons in this game return to your hand when the creature is destroyed. Gauntlet's supposed to destroy itself at the end of the turn, but we're not giving it the opportunity to do that, and we're triggering the, effect that every weapon has, which is when the creature it's attached to is destroyed, it returns to your hand. So we're getting around the fact that the Gauntlet's supposed to be destroyed, and we're getting around the fact that the creature is supposed to return to the opponent, creating a situation where we're destroying a card every turn, and depending on how big it is, we are also drawing several cards. And from here, now that I have the combo going, there isn't a lot she can do. I even have 2 gauntlets, which you can't really use. But even if she somehow, like if I mess up and she somehow gets rid of a gauntlet, it still doesn't matter. And from here, I'm just going to destroy every creature she has, continue to build card advantage, and then just slowly edge her out of this game. And she doesn't quite understand what's happened here, I don't think. So she has 1 unit in play, 1 card in hand, and that unit is, it's not really a beat stick. It is a 1-cost unit that draws a card when you play. It's very similar to Ella. It's not quite as good, but it's not a named unit, which I learned today is actually fairly important. Today I learned. So she bounces a creature back to my hand. I'm not that worried about it. Pretty soon here I'm going to be able to use my core ability again to even up our life totals. And from here we're just going to slowly but surely eke out any opportunity that she had at winning this game. Any creature that she plays we're going to kill, and we even have a counter spell in hand if we need to utilize that. One of these days I'm going to generate a white element and stop being an idiot. And now I'm looking at my hand going, oh yeah, I can't play any of these. These cost white elements. I'm smart. I don't... Oh, wait. Oh, I'm stupid. Oh, I'm double stupid. God, watching myself play sucks. So I discarded a terrain there because I had too many cards in my hand. However, I actually can't. Never mind. I was about to say I could have played one of the units in my hand with that, but I actually couldn't have. I could have discarded Gym Cave, though. Could have done that instead, and then no, never mind. I am still double stupid. So you can only have 6 terrains in play plus your core, so effectively 7 terrains, which I do. So I can't play any of the terrains. However, you can discard them to gain an extra element for that turn, which I could have played a unit and then attached the gauntlet to it and picked off a unit, and I just didn't. I don't have any idea why I didn't, and I could do some more of that here, and I'm probably still not going to. I'm using my core. At least I did one thing that made sense. That's good. I like it when I do things that make sense. Doesn't happen that often, though. So that's going to heal us, hurt her a bit. We're going to... There we go. We got a Gauntlet of Restraint down. Gauntlet of Restraint. We're going to discard a terrain to take her creature. Sack it off. I realized that I put it on top of that Tombstone card. The Tombstone says that the creature that dies on that stack, I can bring it back, and I wanted to make sure that it was an effect that I may do instead of an effect that I have to do. So I'm discarding 3 terrains from my hand. As I said, I can now discard those for bonus elements, basically. So I'm discarding 3 in order to go ahead and put down the Gauntlet of Restraint so that I have it for next turn. That's probably actually a really stupid idea because she now actually has the opportunity to get rid of that gauntlet. Whereas if I had just kept it on my hand and done the whole combo in one turn, there's not real. I don't think there's a way to destroy the gauntlet from that position. I'm not sure that the colors that she's playing actually has any weapon removal, so it might not matter. There's probably something. I mean, red could definitely be playing Fissure, which would destroy it. So yeah, probably would have been an intelligent idea to keep that gauntlet in my hand, but as we've seen for this game, intelligence not exactly my strong suit. So she's got a dragon in play. Thanks to her terrain, that card can actually attack on the turn that it comes into play. I didn't realize this at first, and I was like trying to figure out why she thought she could attack with it. I was like, oh, she thinks she can attack with it because she can. So that goes in. I just take it because my creatures really don't want to block that dragon, and I don't particularly want to trade creatures when I could just steal her dragon, kill it, and draw 4 cards this next turn. That seems a little bit better than trading my whole board for the dragon, so we choose to do that option. Again, we have the Gauntlet of Restraint already in play, so we can snatch her dragon right away, sacrifice it, draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a lot of cards in our hand. We still haven't figured out how to generate white elements, though, unfortunately. So we can't play a lot of them. We're going to go ahead and drop the other gauntlet. I'm trying to figure out a way to spend my elements so that I can get cards out of my hand. There's a 10-card cap. So if you have more than 10 cards at the end of the turn, you have to discard down. So because I'm an idiot and I have a million cards in my hand and I have a bunch of elements that I can't spend properly because I don't know how to click the white element for whatever reason, we're struggling to get the cards out of our hand. This game has gone on longer than it probably needed to. If I had actually spent like my elements, like generated my elements correctly, we probably could have made this go by a little bit quicker. I have played down. Also, my cat is like on my printer, so if there's an obnoxious noise coming from another part of the room, that would be it. I don't know. It's 2 o'clock in the morning right now. The cat very active cleaning itself. So she shockwaves. She returns the card to my hand. I wasn't sure if bouncing a card destroyed the weapon that was attached to it. So I was a little bit worried here that I had like messed up my combo and was actually going to lose a gauntlet. Ultimately, we had another one, so it doesn't matter too much. It would still be kind of upsetting though. But that shockwave, she did pay 2 to return 6 elements worth of cards to my hand, so that does put me back a little bit. And I just have this absolute cluster of elements off to the side, and now I'm generating 3 white elements in one turn, which I have to assume is too many. I don't think I have a way of spending all 3 of these, but I mean, at least it's not 0. That's an improvement. We've moved on from 0, so I use 1. We're gonna use 2 here. Yeah, okay, we're gonna use 2 at the same time, and then play our other angel. We get 2 charges off of that. And at this point I can actually start barreling down the front. So the merchant has the ability to discard a card from my hand and draw another card. I'm just kind of cycling cards a little bit because I can. There's some stuff in my hand that's not going to do me any good. There's another Sacrificial Pit or Sacrificial Chamber, which I can't play. And starting next turn, she's going to start taking a lot of damage because we've actually managed to acquire a decent board of weenies here. Everything that I have in play costs 3 or less. The angel is the big beat stick in this situation with, I think, like 300 attack, which is not a whole lot when you consider that cores in this game start with thousands of HP. Especially we're playing with half HP for the tournament, which honestly I think is probably a better format than the regular format, because I'm not sure if you've noticed, this is a game playing at double speed, and I don't know how far we are into this video. It's probably got to be at least 30 minutes. Because the timer for the video that I'm like recording this off of says over an hour. So this is over an hour long at half HP. As you might imagine, you don't particularly want to see what full HP looks like. It's a slow process. Particularly with decks like these, we both have some healing and stuff going on, so it's a slow, grindy process. So I had explosives in play, which it comes in with 3 charges on it every time I charge my core, which occurs anytime a unit enters or leaves play for my particular core. Anytime I charge my core, it loses one of its 3 charges. And when it gets to 0 charges, it explodes and destroys everything on that stack. So it's like a delayed fissure, but it costs a little bit less to play, and fissure's already a really good card. So a delayed fissure is still a pretty good card. Not as good as fissure, but quite strong. So we're swinging in. Like I said, now we're actually starting to do some real damage in this game. We'll wrap up relatively quick. Actually, I think we get tsunami'd here, if I'm not mistaken. This might be where we get tsunami'd. Or that might be next game, I'm not sure. Ooh, she dropped a terrain and had nothing else. That terrain probably should have gotten trading posted away, actually. So she has 2 terrains in play right now that let... 2 relics in play right now that let her discard a card and draw a card. I think she probably should have done that instead of just playing the terrain, since obviously she's digging for something to not die at the moment. She also has a bunch of relics in play that allow her to generate bonus elements, so she's not really hurting 4 elements at the moment. If I do anything that doesn't involve keeping at least 2 black in my hand for these counter spells that I have in my hand, I am a moron. Okay, so I am attacking, so I'm not going to get rid of all my elements and not be able to utilize my counter spells. I feel like she tsunamis me this game. Do I forget that I have counter spells? I hope not. That's going to be really embarrassing for me. Okay, she draws 2. I feel like I get tsunami'd this game, but that might just be the next one. Waiting. Okay, so she's utilizing her draw power now. I don't think she wants to use... so Trading Post can discard a card to draw a card. You can pay 400 life to draw a card. Or you can destroy the Trading Post itself to draw 2. I would probably be looking to destroy the Trading Post here in like the next couple of turns, just kind of out of desperation to get something on the board, but I don't think she does that. So we have a Storm Spider, pretty good. That's going to be able to nuke one of the creatures that I have on the field. I think one of the Cherubs. Yeah, Cherub goes away. So she played 2 creatures, nuked one of mine. That evens up the board a little bit. She's not in quite as rough of shape. But I feel like this is one of the games where she plays a Tsunami. And the fact that I either don't have the elements to deal with it, and just like overplay kind of, or I forget, and whichever one it is still really embarrassing. Maybe I don't get tsunami'd. Oh, maybe I do get tsunami'd like this next turn. Yeah, because she has 0 cards in hand, so I'm like not fretting it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to attack with my relic there, get real sly. I'm actually just dumb. That is more the issue here. So we're swinging in big here. She's down to 16. And after this, I think she goes down to the single digits. And then there's like one more swing after this. But I might get tsunami'd on this next turn. I think I do. I really probably should have still left up 2 black. Even though, like, because 2 black will let me use my counter spell. Even though, like, I want to apply pressure and just get this game over with, I should have made sure that I couldn't get tsunami'd. Or some other card. Oh, okay. Oh, no. I don't get tsunami'd here, so that's good. I didn't do anything terribly embarrassing, although I do still think not leaving mana up for Dark Magic was a mistake. But yeah, she's at 3 life, and I'm about to swing in for a lot more than 3. So, yeah, I think, yeah, that's the end of that game. All right, guys. This has been PDFTCG. I know it's been a moment since I've uploaded. I'm probably going to try and upload all of my games for this tournament. So hoping everything goes correctly. We still have the semifinals and the finals to go through. So hopefully your boy has 2 more games to show. If I only have 1 more, it's going to be a really sad game. So we're hoping that it's going to be at least 2 more games. I might also try to start uploading like some Chaos Galaxy games and stuff. I'm really not purchasing cards off the Game Crafter at the moment. Unfortunately, just because I need to be an adult, you know. Super boring, I know, but I have responsibilities and stuff, so it's not really an option. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will be posting a link to the Wrath of Kors Discord server, as well as Chris's YouTube channel, so that you guys can go over there and watch both my games and games that don't include me, either live or via like his past broadcast thing. So thanks for watching, really appreciate it, and with any luck I will be seeing you guys at least 2 more times in the next couple of weeks. So thanks for watching.